Hi, welcome to Healthwatch. I'm Cindy Berry from Ledge Light Health District. You know, over the last 18 years, we've covered a lot of topics and we've had a lot of wonderful guests. And it's always fun for me to have somebody from Ledge Light Health District come on and talk about the programs that we're doing right here in Groton, Connecticut. So today I've asked Carolyn Wilson, who is the Gasp coordinator, among other things, at Ledge Light Health District, to be my guest. So thank you so much, Carolyn.
Thank you for having me, Cindy. Always a pleasure.
So let's talk about the very beginning and how it was that you got into public health.
Sure. So I have a background originally in exercise science. So from the very early on in my educational experience, I knew that I was interested in health and well-being, and that translated into me getting into public health. Mm-hmm. So I ended up studying public health in graduate school. And when I was there, I realized that I'm really interested in health behavior change and psychology and health promotion. So I studied health promotion and behavioral science as part of my concentration in public health. Mm-hmm. So I think I picked the right thing, and I'm lucky to be able to apply that every day at work.
Yeah, public health is so fun. I tell people all the time, can't believe that we get, we get paid for doing such great work in the community, and it's so fun.
Yes.
So you have a number of credentials too, that give you kind of even more education in certain fields. Can you explain what some of those are?
Sure. So as I mentioned, I do have a concentration in public health, so I have a master's in public health. And I also am a certified health education specialist, which means that I know how to run health programs the right way, hopefully. So I have that. And I'm also, because I do a lot of prevention work with substance abuse, primarily with youth, I do have a certification in prevention. And then I also got trained to do smoking cessation work. So I also have a certificate in tobacco cessation as well.
And what's been your favorite thing about working at Ledge Light Health District?
Well, I gotta say, I love everybody we work with. We are very fortunate to have such a great staff. So every day coming to work is really fun. Because, I picked public health and health promotion, I like working with people. So being the Gasp coordinator, I get to work with a really great group of people, and they help me complete our mission, really, essentially. Basically, I'm the figurehead, and they help me make it happen. And they're wonderful people who live and work in Groton, and I'm really fortunate to get to work with great people. It makes it not even feel like work.
Yeah, I know, I keep telling people that. So I think one of the things that I love about Ledge Light is that everything that we do is kind of in tandem with the community.
Yes.
We have coalitions for everything, so we don't do everything on our own. So we have the Gasp Coalition, asthma, Lyme disease. We have coalitions around so much of our work.
Yes.
So you mentioned the Gasp Coalition. Tell people what that is.
Sure. So GASP is an acronym. And GASP stands for the Groton Alliance for Substance Abuse Prevention. And we focus primarily on youth and their families, and that is our focus. So we don't really get involved with the treatment process or recovery. Our focus is preventing youth from using substances. So that's always been our mission. And we also do a little bit of mental health promotion as well. We know that mental health and substance abuse go hand in hand. So it's important for us to talk about both things. And we're a community-based coalition. So, some coalitions are lucky to have a paid staff member. And, we have grants that sustain our program. And the rest of the group that we have that make everything happen is all volunteer. So we do have coalitions for everything, but we know through evidence that coalition work is powerful work. If you want to get something done in a community around an issue, you bring together a group of motivated people who are passionate and care, and you'll get the job done versus just one person whose job it is to fix a problem. We know that it takes a group of people, not necessarily a big group, but that's what gets it done. And that's how we've been successful over the years, is that community involvement and the coalition process.
I was thinking back, I think my very first guest on this program was Rob Simmons. And he was then a congressman. And we were able to secure a $500,000 grant through, then it was the Office of Juvenile
Justice or something
Drug
like
Prevention.
that.
It was a long time ago. So how are you funded? How is the Gasp Coalition funded?
So currently, we receive funding from the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services. And that money, it trickles down from the federal government. So they have block grants and things like that that they know they're going to use for substance abuse prevention. And then there's a competitive process at the state for coalitions and communities to apply for that funding. So that's our primary source of funding right now. And then we also have another little pot of money right now from CRAC. Once again, that comes from the state, but it originally comes from the federal government. And it's called Local Prevention Council funding. And that gives us a chance to do things that aren't in our plan for the other grants. So if there's things that aren't covered, like say for instance, we're not focusing on substance X, but we would like to, that gives us a chance to focus on something else, or to deepen what we're doing, to enhance what we're doing with the other funding. So it's nice to have a couple of different sources of funding.
So I want to talk a little bit about the Emerald Ball, because that was this past Saturday, and your honoring of Archie Swindell. Tell me about that.
Sure. So if you're from Groton, you probably know who Archie Swindell is. He is a major part of the community. He's held very many positions in local government, and he happens to be our evaluator. He, I think by trade, is a biostatistician, and he worked in the science industry for a long time. And from the beginning, Archie has been our evaluator. And so what that means is he helps us create surveys where we collect information from youth in the community. And that's a requirement that most coalitions have to do. But Archie was one of the first in the area who's really doing this. And he's done an amazing job. Everything we do at Gasp revolves around the data that we have. We use it to figure out what the problems are. We use it to find out where we're making strides and where we're having barriers, where we're having problems, places that we need to focus more on. So through Archie, we can collect important data from youth about their attitudes, behaviors, perceptions of what their parents think, all these important things that we look at Gasp. So needless to say, Archie is one of the most important people in Gasp, because without him and his work, we wouldn't get funded. We wouldn't get funded, and we wouldn't be as successful as we've been. So
we have about a minute left in the first half, and I want to talk a little bit about the Emerald Ball. You co-sponsored this event with a couple of other organizations.
So we worked with Community Speaks Out and Community of Hope together on a fundraiser to address prevention, treatment, and recovery. And we're all three Groton-focused organizations. So we had it at the Mystic Marriott, and there was 430 people, and it was a giant success. And we did honor Archie that night.
And you already have the date for next year?
Yes, we're looking at February 15th, 2020.
So hopefully people will look for that, because I know that you were sold out. There were people calling even the day of, and they were turned away.
So we're, we've got everybody to save the date now, so we're looking forward to it.
That's great. So we're going to take a break, and then after we're going to have a big reveal.
All right.
So hopefully you'll stay with us. We'll be right back.
We believe believe that when the community comes together, we can do great things.
We're working to make Groton the healthiest and safest place for everyone.
Hey kids, listen to your parents.
We want you to have the facts and the best tools to keep you safe.
We know there is a lot of confusing talk about drugs in the media.
Parents, we know you have a tough job to do, teaching your kids about alcohol and drug abuse. We're here to help you.
Let's work together to change community norms about drugs and alcohol.
Help us out. Volunteer. Donate.
Find us at Groton Prevents and join us.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
The torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans.
The American dream need not forever be deferred.
This is the richest and the most powerful country.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job!
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back to Health Watch. I'm Cindy Berry from Ledge Light Health District. So we mentioned in the first half that there was going to be a bit of a reveal. And the reveal is that after 18 years, I'm transitioning off the Health Watch program, and Carolyn Wilson will actually be the new host. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's switch places. So I'm really excited about this for you, Carolyn. I think it's an opportunity for you to meet a lot of new people and have some great topics ahead.
I am so excited, Cindy. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So
you get to interview me now.
So let's start with the number one question I have for you. After all of these years, who has been your favorite person to have on Health Watch?
Well, there's actually a few, of course. I think that when I look back to all the people that were on, and I thank all of them, everybody who has been a guest here has been somebody who's had an interesting story to tell. They've experienced life in a certain way. They had an expertise that they shared. And really important critical information in terms of public health and health for the community. I think about people like Joanne Moore, who was a widow. Mm-hmm. She started a magazine for widowers, and she came on and she told the story of losing her husband and how that felt for her, and the advice that she gives other people who are going through a similar situation. There was Lisa Saunders, who came on and talked about the fact that her daughter was born with CMV, which is a rare virus, but she shared the heartbreak that accompanied that situation for her. Richard Blumenthal came on when he was Attorney General here in Connecticut and talked about his passion for tobacco and really his resolve that the tobacco industry should pay for tobacco cessation. And then my all-time favorite is, and I always tell Sean Greeley here at Groton Public Library, is my interview with Sydney Van Zandt. Mm-hmm. She's from the Groton Open Space Association, and I convinced Sean to let's get outside and do an interview at Haley Farm. And by far, it was really the most touching and wonderful interview.
Mm-hmm. So Cindy, you've done so much. What do you think are some of the most pressing public health topics right now?
Well, I don't think we can get away from the opioid and drug overdose public health issue. I heard that it surpassed actually traffic accidents or car crashes in the last year. So I think that there's that, but also I think obesity in our country and the role that poor nutrition and lack of physical activity play in that. There are a lot of different public health issues, but I think those are the two that come to my mind right now.
All right, and what programs have been keeping you busy at LLHD lately?
Those who know me know that I wear a lot of different hats, and I love that about my job. So right now I'm coordinating the Lyme Disease Prevention Task Force, doing some work with that. Also providing the Diabetes Self-Management Program, a 6-week program, and that kind of parlayed into a Cook Well program, which is a cooking program that's really fun for adults with diabetes.
So, being the host of Health Watch for all this time, what would be your advice for me?
Oh gosh, I think you're going to be just fine, Carolyn. I think that it's just such a fun opportunity to have somebody that you're interviewing. You have them all to yourself for about a half an hour, which is great fun. But also, I think that there's a fine line between really trying to honor somebody's privacy when they're your guest and getting something meaningful from them, you know, having a meaningful conversation so that the people who are watching feel like they could relate to that. You know, I've experienced that, or I have a new resource now, or boy, she was affirming something about me that I've been thinking about. I think it's going to be so fun for you.
Great. So now we have a video.
Welcome to Ledge Light Healthwatch. I'm Cindy Berry, Community Health Coordinator. This is a new series that's being sponsored by Ledge Light Health District. This program will focus on current health issues that are of concern to the Groton community. Hi, welcome to Healthwatch. I'm Cindy Berry from Ledge Light Health District. Today we're going to be talking about chiropractics. You're able to tell us in a way that helps us understand. Today, Caitlin King is here, who is one of the first members of the Youth Advisory Council. There's a renewed interest in bike riding here in southeastern Connecticut.
Nice to be here. Thanks for the invite.
So it's my pleasure today to introduce you to Laura Ely, who's a health and wellness coach. It's something that we've never talked about on the Health Watch program. Chief of the Fire Department for Groton City, Nick D'Elia. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, my pleasure. Into the top chest. And we're going to apply that one to the bottom chest.
At Ledge Light Health District.
Thank you.
You're welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
And joining me now is Betty Bodette with Cody and Carol Cassidy with Isabella.
Isabel just charmed the pants off them.
Yay!
I'm at the right place at the right time.
At my house, we call this sprinkled cheese. And of course, this is what we clean our bathtubs with.
And then you do the other side on the other knee. Yep.
I actually got my bachelor's in entomology and then went in.
So I put the fire in here and I go like that. So this shows what a healthy plate might look like.
You really have to get into those deeper muscle fibers to be effective.
Left for the left foot and express. Push off on the toe of the right foot.
Try not to cry.
I think I'll be fine.
Oh, you were good. If I had a sticker, I'd give it to you.
Terrific. What are you hearing from Connecticut?
Tremendous support for stronger measures and enforcement of our laws. For example, against minors buying tobacco products, which of course is against the law in every one of the states.
I am a strong believer in federal funding for community health centers, and I would like to see that amount of funding go up. As you know, I've worked hard to try to get grants for Ledge Light. And
I'm just kind of curious, what do you find is the most rewarding part of all of this?
You know, it's a great district, and you know, the opportunity to provide some assistance for people, even on an individual case or a small business, you know, is where you do feel like you're making a difference.
Can we talk a little bit about what the Connecticut Agricultural Experiment Station does?
Sure. We're actually the oldest agricultural experiment station in the country. We've been in existence since 1876.
The mission of the NAACP has not changed in the last 100 years. We are an advocacy organization centered around social injustice.
The American Athletic Institute is a sport consulting firm. So we do research on Olympic athletes and find out how drugs and alcohol affect performance.
I appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. You and I are real passionate about our work, so I think it's fun to work together. There are no boundaries when it comes to public health prevention, so we'll continue to do it.
Exactly.
I think we have a great deal to
celebrate.
Happy to address that, but I really would like to take this opportunity to say how supportive the board is. They're very interactive.
Well, the Commissioner of the Department of Public Health has overall responsibility for the public's health.
Healthy kids are happy kids. So today, to introduce us to that program is Carolyn Wilson, who is one of the newest additions to our staff at Ledge Light. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Actually, I think I'm in your office right now, right? This is your office?
On Mondays, anyway.
On Mondays. Okay, we're here at Esker Point Beach, and what better place to talk about safety? We're here on a beautiful spring day at Perennial Harmony. And my guest today is Dr. Warren Burrows, who is the farmer here at the Groton Family Farm. Welcome.
Among the sheep, and I'm wondering what animals you've decided to incorporate into the farm.
Well, right now our main deal actually is chickens, but we do have Shetland sheep.
Nowhere is it more beautiful during warm weather especially than right here at Haley Farm. And thank you so much for meeting me out here today. How can they help take care of it when they visit? We're here today at the Groton Regency in their commercial kitchen to talk about foodborne illness prevention and introduce you to a new program at Ledge Light Health District. And my guests today are Erica Benvenuti, who's a registered dietitian from Yukon Cooperative Extension, and Ernie Kochmeter, who is the director of the food service program right here at Westside Middle School. And I'm here at beautiful Washington Park today at the Field of Greens Farmers Market.
Emergency food systems like food pantries and soup kitchens.
We have Jeff Kaufman coming. He does sea shanties.
And how long have you been in the business of farming?
Over 22 years.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for tuning in. Have a good day. And thank you for tuning in. And with that, well, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for tuning in. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. And thank you for tuning in to Healthwatch. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in to Healthwatch. We'll see you next time. And thank you for tuning in to Healthwatch. And thank you for tuning in today. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for tuning in today with Ledge Light Health District.
So Cindy, do you have any final thoughts or take-home messages for your viewers?
I just want to thank everybody. You know, people stop me in the grocery store all the time, either to say that a particular program touched something in them or to suggest other topics that maybe I haven't thought about. I really need to thank Sam Crowley, who was our former director of health at Ledge Light. He insisted that we do this program, that there was a void in the community for information. And also to Sean Greeley, who's been wonderful. Every harebrained idea I've ever had about Healthwatch, he's pretty much gone along with. So I think just to thank everybody, and it's really with deep appreciation.
Cindy, well, I have to say thank you to you for passing the torch along to me. I have very impressive shoes to fill, but I'm up for the challenge. And I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to Healthwatch, and I hope you'll join us next time.